We had just rung in the new year at Theo's bar on Calle 3, and the place had settled back into normal bar mode. At my table were two working girls. One was the inspiration for my book, Magdalena, A Prostitute's Life in Costa Rica, and the other, a tiny and attractive young chica I met a week or two before, who was well on her way to becoming quite drunk, which was her invariable custom. This little chica, whom we shall call Alejandra, was hoping to find a customer and make some money. I had already told her I didn't have much cash, but she still sat at the table with us since there didn't seem to be a lot of other gringo prospects that night. It was well past 1 in the morning when Alejandra caught the eye of a 60-something gringo who eventually motioned her over to talk with him. She went over to the bar to see if perhaps he wanted her company, in the tica sense of the word, sex for money. She spent 5 or 10 minutes talking to the gringo before she returned to the table, calling the man, in Spanish, an idiot who had wasted her time. I didn't give it much thought until he came over to our table a short time later. The gringo seemed quite enchanted with Alejandra and couldn't seem to take his eyes off her. He kept trying to talk to her, in English, which she understood and spoke very minimally. The gringo kept repeating how he could, somehow, tell that she was a very strong person. I presume he was talking about some sort of inner strength and not physical strength, as she is less than 5 feet tall and less than 90 pounds. Because of the language barrier, I ended up as translator between the gringo and Alejandra. The conversation, such as it was, consisted of the gringo talking about how he didn't want her for sex. He wanted her for a relationship, and Alejandra asking him, for her part, if he wanted compañía or not. Her state of drunkenness didn't help, but I tried my best to explain to her that he wanted her for a girlfriend while I tried to explain to him that she needed to make some money. He showed me a business card with his name and business, some sort of farm where he grew some sort of crop or something that seemed to have something to do with health. He wanted me to explain to her that he wanted to take her back to his ranch and devote himself to her. My Spanish is decent, but I can't say it was easy trying to get that across to Alejandra. A big part of the difficulty was that she simply didn't want to hear it. For her, she had one interest: making money right then. Anything else was irrelevant to her. In her drunken state of mind, anything more involved than "you me fucky, you pay me" was just noise at that point. Despite her drunkenness and rather surly attitude, the gringo persisted, and I quickly tired of translating his spiel to her and her blowing it off. I finally decided to cut to the chase for both of them. I told him that she needed money right now to pay rent, or whatever, and that's all she wanted to talk about, for the moment at least. Gringo didn't give up on his idea of making Alejandra his own, but eventually he ended up giving her his business card and $80 with the promise that she'd call him the next day. She called me the next day and I asked her if she was going to call him. Her response was, "That idiot?" And no more was said of her would-be fiancé.